Hello. So the other day I was sitting in my garden and I noticed this robin redbreast hopping into my garden hose reel. So you can just see her there on the bottom of the hose, and you'll shortly see her skip around the back. And then to my amazement, she had actually nested inside the hose reel and laid 2 little eggs. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool to capture all of those various stages from eggs to chicks using an old action cam that I've got lying around, but not just to record the footage and then play back later, but to live stream that footage either to my phone or tablet. So I managed to acquire all of the parts required for this build for just shy of £25. I'll leave links in the description. So if you've got either a GoPro or any type of camera, as long as it has AV outputs, I'll show you how you can modify that to work as a live streaming wildlife camera. Okay, so for this project, in addition to your Android device, you are going to need a GoPro, or in this case a clone GoPro, but it's exactly the same form factor. The housing, now I've gone for a waterproof type housing because this one happened to come with these 3 back plates, and I think this one is the extended type that's usually used for the LCD, optional LCD screen, but it's ideal for this build because it allows me to place all my gubbins inside the housing, so when I close it up everything will be nice and compact with no wires hanging out the back. But of course, if you did go for a regular type housing like this one, you could just use a bit of Velcro on the back here and stick your battery and transmitter on the back. The only difference being that it's not going to be quite as water resistant. Okay, so you're going to need a transmitter. This one here, just zoom in so you can see that, is a 200 milliwatt transmitter. Usually these devices usually used for FPV flying. 200 milliwatts is more than enough for this project. I was fortunate enough that this one came with a mini USB connector, but if it doesn't, they can be purchased separately like this one. The plugs in the end will be generic, but it's very simple. You'll have audio, video and ground, and if you look on the transmitter, it's all labeled up for you there, so you can just sort of splice into the connector that it comes with and attach the audio, video, ground and the battery cable. Okay, and then you're going to need a battery. Now again, you're going to have to be creative with this. I chose this particular type because it fits nicely in the housing, but crucially, so you can see this one says 7.4 volts. Make sure that the battery matches the voltage requirements of your transmitter, and you can see this one has a range of between 7, oops, it's gone out of focus, between 7 to 24 volts. And finally, the receiver, which I will show you how this connects to your Android device, and that's it. Oh, and one optional bit of kit you might want to use is something like this tripod. One leg's missing at the moment, so it's more of a bipod. I find these really useful when you want to position your camera, specifically for this bird nest project. You can get all sorts of angles. Okay, so let me show you how easy this is to set up. So to begin with, plug in your transmitter into the USB of the GoPro and the battery into the battery end of the transmitter. Just make sure you get your polarity correct. If you have, you'll see a little LED telling you that everything's working. Switch your GoPro on, and then on your tablet plug in your receiver. In this case it's a mini USB. Now I've downloaded the GoFPV app. If you haven't, this wouldn't happen, but I'll show you where you get that app from on the Android store. Click play. If everything's connected properly, just hit OK, and there you have it. Everything working as it should. Let me show you quickly how I went about housing all the various components. So to begin with, place your GoPro into the housing. The only connector that you're going to need access to is the USB. So wherever that aligns with your housing, you want to drill a hole there. Also, in addition to that, this is totally optional, is I cut away a little section where the microphone is on this camera, and that's just allows me to capture the sounds of nature. The other place where you're going to need to drill a hole is for the transmitter, and that will give you access for the antenna. I've just used a bit of double-sided tape to hold that down for now, and a bit of Velcro for the battery. You place your battery in there, connect your battery to the GoPro. Now all of these connectors can be stored within the housing except for the USB. So I've chamfered away a little bit of plastic there, so when I close the housing it doesn't pinch too hard on this cable. So I can lock that in place, plug this in, and there you have it, one GoPro housed. Now bear in mind that this is no longer going to be waterproof. You will have a degree of water resistance, but it's certainly not something that you can submerge in a bucket of water. So here's a side-by-side comparison of the actual action cam footage recorded in 1080p and the live stream on a Android tablet. Yeah, clearly no comparison, but the live stream is totally watchable. So I do hope you found this useful, and to end with, I'll show you the condensed version of the next 2.5-3 weeks, and you will see how the chicks develop and are almost ready to leave the nest at the end.